Wow, I can't believe. Hello, everyone. Can't believe that we finally got to this point. We will continue the main quest. Oh my goodness. So, what we're going to do is to talk to Panari Priest. That's what Raven recommended us. Oh, I can't believe. So let's listen. In the name of Nasruddin, I welcome you, my friend. How can I help you today? Hello, might I ask you who you are? Of course, I'm Alexander, High Acolyte, here in the first Panari Temple. The man before you is tall and broad, with chiseled planar features, a heavy brow, and kind eyes. His hands are huge and heavily calloused beneath his robe, scared forearms like those of a warrior. Greeting, Alexander. Might I ask you a few questions? Of course. What can you tell me of the Panari Church? What would you like to know? What do the Panari believe in? The Panari and their beliefs are centered around the life and the teachings of Nasruddin. Throughout his life and in the years since his passing, there has been much written about him by those who knew him as well as by learned men who have studied his life. What can you tell me about Nasruddin? What would you like to know about him? Who was he? Nasruddin was a very powerful and wise elf who lived during the Age of Legends. As leader of the Elven Council, Nasruddin was both the physical and spiritual leader of all the lands of Arcanum. For 1,000 years, he ruled over the council and the land prospered, and all was well. What happened? The coming of Ernax heralded the end of an age for Arcanum, from the disbanding of the Elven Council to the death of our beloved Nasruddin. Who was the Ernax fell? Ernax was an elf on the original Elven Council during the Age of Legends. According to the histories, Ernax was a very evil elf. He had personal interests in gaining control of the council and using it for his own dark ends. Ernax thought that not only should elves rule, but that they should subjugate the other races. Nasruddin came to our defense. Where is he now? Ernax was banished by Nasruddin and the council after a large battle near the Ring of the Broadgar. Ernax had waged the war against the council. It is speculated that he had tried to wrest control of the council from Nasruddin for his own purposes. Nasruddin died from wounds he received in that battle. You say he was banished? What does that mean? When someone is banished, they are sent to what is known the void. And the void, what is it? Well, my friend, there is an area of some debate. Many say that the void is an actual place, a plane of existence where the evil pay for their transgressions for all of eternity. Others say that the void is merely a state of unbeing, not a physical place. What is known is that when someone is banished, they are no longer here and they cannot come back. How is that any different from death? Death is proven through magic, is sometimes a temporary state. Entitles entities can be resurrected. There is no resurrection from the void. Banishment was a permanent solution, a punishment of the highest degree. It's never done anymore. There are those who believe that the knowledge of how to do so has been lost forever. I happen to know that some do come back from the void. Okay, let's ask. Okay, let's ask more questions about Ernax. What does it mean that Ernax was banished? Has anyone else have been banished? Yes, others have been banished over the centuries. The Archean actually names four of them specifically: Gorgoth, the Bane, Okri, Kergan, and Krakatur. Of course, there were others, but these were the most infamous. Infamous. Tell me of the Bane of Kree. The Bane of Kree was a Nomad warrior who was able to gather together nearly all the ancient nomadic tribes and create a vicious army of them. When his army descended on the city of Kree, he mercilessly killed every man, woman, and child that lived there. Nasruddin was forced to confront him and banish him single-handedly. Tell me of Kergan. Kergan was the very first mage to ever delve into the darker side of necromancy. The Elven Council, when they found out what he was doing, demanded that he cease his studies. He refused and they banished him. Tell me of the Bane of Kree. No, Krakator. Krakator was a conniving, twisted monster. Half man and half dragon. Wow. Who terrorized cities and villages, killing the inhabitants and burning them to the ground. With the strength of a dragon, but the dark heart of basest man. He was evil beyond comparison. After a colossal battle, he was subdued and banished. In his struggle, he lost an eye, which is on display in the offices of archaeology if you are interested. Tell me about Gorgoth. Gorgoth was mindless beast with an insatiable appetite. He cut a swath of destruction from one end of Ganon to the other, laying waste of everything in his desperate hunt for food. He was finally captured by the council after struggle which lasted for days, and with no other alternative, it was decided that he be banished from Arcanum. A few more questions about our next. A few general questions about the Panari. Who was he? What was the Elven Council? The Elven Council was a group of elves who ruled Arcanum during the Age of Legends. It was made up of powerful elven mages, and their leader was Nasruddin. Together, they oversaw the well being of all of the races. The council was disbanded soon after the death of Nasruddin. They felt that their time had passed. It was not for anyone to rule over all of the races. You said before that he passed. Is he dead? Nasruddin died after he and the council banished Aranax at the ruin of Brodgar. Nasruddin was wounded mortally and in the battle, which preceded the banishment and died not long after. You say that Aronnax was banished. What does it mean? Where? How did he die? Nasruddin died after he and the council banished Aronnax at the Ring of Broadground. Was okay, okay. Where did he die? According to the Archeon, Nasruddin traveled to the southernmost tip of the land and there laid himself to rest. That is why we are here. This temple is built of his remains. Oh, really? Oh, really? Oh, actually, yeah. Oh, really? And where might I find his remains? The remains of Nasruddin are just below us, in the lower catacombs. There is a straight stairway through the doors behind me. It leads down to the burial chamber and the sarcophagus in which he is encased. Unfortunately, only church elders and pilgrims are allowed to see the remains. I have some more questions about Nasruddin. What are the teachings of Nasruddin? What would you like? Other scriptures that you study? There are many writings to study, but the most important book of the Panari religion is the Archeon. It is a collection of what are considered the most representative teachings of Nasruddin, as well as some prophecies that were made in the early years following his death. Where might I see a copy of the Archeon? The Archeon? It is just over there, the large book on the pedestal. Feel free to peruse its pages and gain what wisdom there is to be found. If you'd like to discuss anything you find confusing or unclear, I'd be happy to oblige you. Thank you, Alexander. A few more questions about Nasruddin Panari. What is the essence of Nasruddin teachings? Nasruddin was an elder believer in Elven philosophy. Elves feel that everyone and everything have their rightful place in the world, that this reality is formed through the combined experience of all forms of life. Good and evil rarely play part in how elves view the world. It might be considered evil. Evil, in the most basic terms, might be described as something which disallows the progression of the natural order. I suppose it's a gray area, but you might say evil is anything diametrically opposed to Elven philosophy. To which I might say even those things have their place. Alexander smiles. It is said that single Elven philosophical debates have spent literal decades. You can see why. Tell me again, Farkan, questions about the Panari. More general questions. Okay, let's read the book. And Nasruddin, great and powerful father, was born in the elven forces of old. Of this world, but not of it. Body of flesh, but spirit and wisdom of the gods. Eyes that saw beyond his years, dream born of another age. And with them he saw time is right. He gathered about him an elven council, a group of wise and benevolent beings who saw the world as he did. Not much. For Nasruddin saw all beings as made equal and gathered those about him who loved all the races of the old dwarf and elves, human and gnome, halfling and orc, all beautiful to him, and he watched over them all as if they were his own children. And the Elven Council, they protected Arcanum from the evils which interested it, and many was sent to the void, banished from this place for their crimes. Mighty Gorgoth, whose hunger was only okay, too much of reading. So maybe we're already ready. Yes, who's that? Are you kidding me? What about him? Hello, Simon. Do you have time? Oh, this door is open. Who's this guy? Hello, what can I do for you? Hello, and who might you be? The man in front of you is a wizened old gnome with wildish gray hair and a beard 3 days grown. He looks up at you, grinding toothlessly. Call me Hadrian, acolyte of the plenary, and the local expert on church archaeology. How might I help you today? Greeting, I'm Sergius. Might I speak with you in a moment? Certainly. Let's talk about your work. What would you like to know? Tell me about some of the objects you have here. Which one would you like to know about? Are they for sale? No, no, these are priceless church artifacts. I couldn't part with them for worldly riches. Some more general questions. Um, what do you know about remains of Nasruddin? The remains of Nasruddin? What would you like to know about them? Where are they? They are housed in the old catacombs beneath the temple. The first acolyte Alexander can direct you there if you have problems finding it. Have you seen them? His brow furrows. No, and I'd do anything to see those old bones of his. There are so many questions I could answer if I could only have a look at them. When he died, how he died. I want to know if his skeletal structure is the same as commoner elves, or if his prolonged use of powerful magics changed him somehow. So many questions, and I've never been able to see them. Why, Hadrian? You're the church archaeologist, surely you. Yes, you'd think so, wouldn't you, young man? He raises from his seat, gesticulating to and fro. I mean, when the elders need someone to go digging in the dank caverns of the Bangling deeps, who do they call upon? Oh, if some poor fool comes across a tome sealed with a Gargothian blood curse, ring the bell for old Hadrian. But why don't they let you see the remains, Hadrian? I have no idea. He throws his hands in the air, appending a stack of papers and what looks to be a cup of dark ale. They speak of discretion and sacrilege, but he lowers his voice, leaning closer. The man is dead. Dead. I respect and cherish Nasruddin and what he taught us more than anyone, but I hardly think he'd be upset if I chipped a piece of bone from his earthly shell. I see your point. I myself would love to take a look at them. Really? His face brightens. Are you a fellow archaeologist, my friend? Oh, yes. Yes, I am. Strictly freelance, of course. No, but I'm long story. Tell him that happened. Interesting. The living one? You? He pulls back, crossing his arm. I think that's very poor taste. Do you have any idea what it is that you're proposing? Yes, I know, it's hard to believe, but you know we were told to watch out for someone like you. The high priest said that there would be an impostor who would try to pass himself off as the living one. You're lucky I don't have you thrown in chains right there. Wait, Hadrian, this is important. I need your help. He looks at you, conflicted. Look, please, just leave. I couldn't help you see the remains in any case. If I've never seen them, they're certainly not going to let you. I see. Well, good day to you. Wait. Yes. Listen, I don't know what to think anymore. I'm an old man and very set in my beliefs. It is much easier for me to think you are a charlatan than to face the alternative. I understand, Hadron, and I'm sorry. If the remains are what you seek, he takes a deep breath, looking around. His voice lowers. You may want to wander around the local sewers. You never know what you'll find down there. Perhaps you could bring back wherever it is you come across. Perhaps you could bring it back for me to look at. I'll look around. I'll find if I find anything, I'll bring it back. You do that. Few general questions. Who found them? They're housed in the old catacombs beneath the temple. The burial chamber and the sarcophagus were found by one of the elves of the early church. His name escapes me, but if you speak with Gunther Wilhelm about it, he'd be able to give you the details. The church was then built over the catacombs. Okay, let's save this option, number 3. Then reload and try to say that we're archaeologists. What is this black gem? Sign of Krakatoa. Really? It's beautiful stone. No, I mean, it is really the Eye of Krakatoa. When the council was banishing them, he put up quite a struggle. Somehow the monster's eye got put out and someone found it as they were cleaning up. Dreadful creature Krakatoa was. If you ask Alexander about who been banished over the years, he'll tell you the story. Perhaps I'll do that. How about those objects? Are they for sale? Okay. But tell me about oh yes, I am. Okay. No, but let's say I'm interested in some place. Yes, I am strictly freelance, of course. Yes, he considers you a moment, measuring your words. You do seem have that particular look about you. Probably a little dirt under those fingernails, yeah? Well met. And what interest do you have in the remains of Nasruddin? I'm thinking of converting, but I need a little proof. He looks at you, winking. I understand, my friend. Faith is a wonderful thing, especially when backed up by some good hard evidence. He laughs, remaining around on his desk. I have made a few notes over the years about the sarcophagus. Here we are. What do you know, Hadrian? Let's see. Standard information. The stone is of the local area. There are elven characters naming it as the final resting place of Nasruddin. The design is Old Elven, consistent with the latter end of the Age of Legends. Rune work is exquisite, although perhaps a bit overdone, in my opinion. Of course, I'm more of a conservative, but you've never seen inside, has anyone? As far as I know, no one has ever broken the seal on the sarcophagus. Interesting. I'd really like to see what's in there, Adrian. He leans closer, indicating you do the same. Just how much do you want to see them, my friend? Very much. I see. He looks around furtively. Look, I'm an important member of this church. My face is well known. I can exactly be running around and defacing sacred church artifacts. He laughs. But were I to have an accomplice and might be able to get in and get out without anyone being the wiser. I'm listening. The tomb lies within the old catacombs, and the entrance to the burial room is well guarded. But about a year ago, I was perusing the pages of one of our ancient texts, and within its pages, I found an old illustration of the catacombs, drawn by the first keeper of the crypt, apparently for his own use in navigating them. What does it show, Hadrian? All of the connecting passages into the burial room was walled off soon after the discovery, all except for one. There is a passageway which comes up through the floor, and it is so well hidden in the stonework that it's been missed all of these years. I've shared this information with no one. You and I are the only living souls who know of its existence. That's fascinating, and I think I see your plan. Good. Here's what needs to be done. Enter the sewers through the grating just in front of the temple. When you're entered, you will be in the small room. There is a crack in the wall. It leads to the old catacombs beneath the temple. Enter them. Wow. But why would I need to know? Why would I need to see the Nasruddin's remains? And then you will find yourself in a passageway. When it comes to an end, you will see a door in the wall. Speak the word creamstone to it, and it will open for you. Through that door is a passage that leads to a staircase. That staircase leads to the tomb of Nasruddin. Is there anything else I need to know? Once you've entered the catacombs, you will see adjoining passages as well. Don't enter them. They are full of dark spirits and other creatures. If you wish to avoid them, go straight through the door and up into the burial room. The catacombs, you will see adjoining passages as well. I remember that. Thank you, Hadrian. My pleasure, he winks. Return to me with whatever you find. If possible, bring me a piece of the skeleton. I'd enjoy being able to finally get a look at it. Together, we'll see what old Nasruddin has to tell us. I'll think on this and return later. I'll return when I accomplish this. You do that, my friend. It smiles. Is there anything else? Okay, this is better. Number 2, right? Hadron the archaeologist wants you to bring back a piece of Nasruddin skeleton. Let's read all the notes. I was told the story behind the banishment of the Bane of Kree. He was a Norman warrior who was able to gather together nearly all ancient nomadic tribes and create. So all this I heard already. I was told the story. I was told the story. Alexander, first acolyte of the Panari, told me that the remains of Nasruddin are located beneath the Panari temple. Alexander showed me where I might see a copy of the Arcanum, the holiest book of the religion of the Panari. Alexander told me that I need to speak with Gunther Wilhelm, the church historian, and Hadrian, the church archaeologist, concerning the remains of Nasruddin. I spoke with Hadrian, the archaeologist, about the remains of Nasruddin. It seems that even he does not have access to them. After a little subterfuge, Hadrian confided in me that he's discovered a way to see the remains of Nasruddin firsthand. I am to enter the old catacombs through a crack in the sewer walls directly under the temple. According to Hadrian, here's a secret door that leads directly to the burial chamber. It is magically sealed, and the password to open it is Grimstone. And that's it. But okay, I'll reload and check one more option. Have you seen them? Blah blah blah. No, but I'd say I have an interest in Nasruddin resting place. Let's see. Right. Well, I can't say I could help you. I've never seen the remains, so I doubt they're going to let a stranger walk in and start rattling his bones. I'm sorry, but I think you're on your own. I see. Well, good day to you. Okay, so this is the worst option. Well, now I can reload back to number 2. Actually, I will try to reload and first talk to Historia. Greetings, and how are you, sir? The thin man in front of you is very properly dressed. Instead of robes, he wears a finely made suit. A pair of thin gold spectacles lie across his nose. His features are delicate, but his eyes belie a strength of body and character as well as harboring a fierce intelligence. He regards you intensely. You might. I am Wilhelm. Gunther Wilhelm. A pleasure, sir. What exactly do you do here? I'm the church historian. I have a variety of responsibilities here. from translations to document restorations, as well as authentication of any literary finds. If it's written and it has to do with the Panari, it is my job to know about it. Does that answer your question? Yes, and very well. I'd ask you a few questions. What is it you'd like to know? Tell me of some of your work. What about my work are you interested in? What are you currently working on? Gunther points to some book on his desk. His movements are quick and precise. Currently, I am doing some research on all the translations of the Archeon. I have found some interesting discrepancies that I am looking into. What is the Archeon? The Archeon is the collection of teachings and prophecies for the Panari religion. If you haven't seen it already, there is a copy on display in the temple proper. Alexander, the first acolyte, can show you. I see. You said something about discrepancies. Now, there are a few discrepancies in some of the passages that I've found in this earlier copy. I'll give you an example. The Archeon we read today refers to our order as the Panari. The word Panari is the old tongue, means light servant or follower. But in this older copy I'm studying, we are referred to as the Panrnis, which means defenders of the gate. Very odd. Interesting. Was there anything else? A few minor things. I'm still working on the translations. Perhaps it's something we can speak of later. Of course, a few more questions about your work. There's a statue in the courtyard. Who is that? That statue is of Saint Manox, one of the early elders of the church. Why was he made a saint? Saint Manox was the only person, reportedly, he looked at you over his spectacles, to have ascended. That is, the spirit of Nasruddin appeared and took his body directly from this plane of existence to the next. You say reportedly, Gunther. Do you not believe? Reputedly. Gunther smiles at you. There is no doubt in my mind that Manox was a very holy man. My belief in an inconclusive set of circumstances does not invalidate that fact, regardless of how that might reflect on my own faith. Were there any eyewitnesses to the event? There were two eyewitnesses to the ascension of Manox. One was an elf named Rendar, and the other, what was his name? Kanhua, I believe. Their accounts of the incident were almost exactly the same, and both were beautifully written. A few more questions about Manox. What did you want to know about Saint Manox? Do you believe in the ascension, Gunther? Questions about Manox. What else do you know about him? Almost all of the records concerning the life of the great saint have been lost over the years. Very little is known about him, or what he did before he was taken. A slight smirk. Of course, there are the usual unsubstantial accounts of miracles. He seems to remember himself straightening. And of course, there is Alexander. What do you mean? What does Alexander have to do with him? You haven't heard? He almost never speaks of it. The man has enough humility for all of us. Alexander is direct descendant of Manox. His family has held the position of first acolyte for the last 1500 years. No, I didn't know that. That's quite a legacy. Yes, it is. And there is no better man to bear it. Alexander is the saint in his own right. There are few men I respect, my friend. Alexander is the noble soul. Do you know anything about him? No, tell me of him. Alexander hasn't always been with us here at the temple. You see, the first acolyte's role in any Panari temple is as spiritual leader and warlord. Symbolically, he is to assume these roles just as Nasruddin did so many years ago. Most acolytes go into this very lightly, then might entreat the local constabulary of train them in basically combat techniques. Not so Alexander. How did he do? Alexander left us for 10 years and studied with some of the most feared and respected masters in several of the combat disciplines. For his pilgrimage, he traveled to the Vendigroth wastes and lived there alone until he thought himself ready to assume his post. If you know nothing of the waste, know this: there is no more terrible place in all of Arcanum. So he's a skilled warrior. There is not a more dangerous man in all of Caledon, and he is very well versed in 2 or 3 of the magic colleges, as well as are all of us who are Panari elders. The temple hasn't been in safer hands since it was in those of the great saint himself. Interesting. Could I ask a few more questions about Manox? Were there any... Yeah. I had some questions about the remains of Nasruddin. What would you like to know about them? What do you know about them? Me? I know very little about them, save for the documents we have associated with this discovery and a few research documents about the sarcophagus himself. Hadrian, the archaeologist, would have more information about these specifics. Do you think that they are authentic? He lowers his voice. To tell you the truth, I really don't know. I've done a lot of research into the engravings of the sarcophagus. Everything seems to be in order. It just seems to me that it's all very convenient. I mean, who buried him? We have no records of that. There is no doubt that an elf of his stature would have been given an elaborate burial, but who did it? We do not know. Do the church records say who discovered them? Yes. Let me see. He pulls a weathered tome from the shelf. Oh, there we are. The elf's name was Kanhua. Wasn't the person who witnessed the ascension named Kanhua? Why, yes. It's at least the same name. Let me look at the years. The discovery of the remains happened within a few years of the ascension of Saint Manox. I never realized that, but you are correct. That very well might have been the same person. Don't you find that strange? Perhaps a little convenient? You're very curious about this whole affair, my friend. Why is your real interest in this? It's a long tale. Tell him all that happened. Oh, I always been extremely... Huh, huh, hmm. I see. Gatler studies you a moment, calculating. You're telling me that you are the sole survivor of the IFS Zephyr Bloom crash? Yes. Gunther is silent for a long while, then a slight smile comes over his face and he takes your hand in his. I was wondering when you were going to tell me. I've been looking for you for a long time, you know. The rumors abound, and we'd heard you might come calling. I'm so very glad you decided to put your trust in me. Thank you, Gunther. I really need to see those remains. Listen, my friend, not everyone here is sympathetic to your cause. Hadrian, the archaeologist, is the one who you need to speak with. But be very careful. He's an old and loyal friend, but belief in you will come slowly for him. He will be the best source of information regarding the remains and how you might see them, but treat lightly. Subterfuge might be necessary. Look. I remember that, Gunther. Thank you for your help. No, thank you, my friend. Return here when you've seen the remains and tell me what you find. I may be able to help you once you know what is you are looking for. I will, Gunther. Goodbye. Huh. Let's see number 5. Number 5. Load the game. I see, Gunther studies you a moment calculating. Well, if it remains you're interested in, I see her. Okay, so I did everything right. So number 5, probably the best option. I'm going to ask. The case houses a strange glass device. Blake reads strange glass device. This glass houses that looks to be a small, ovular black stone. A plaque reads the Eye of Krakatoa. This case houses that what seems to be the bones of a finger. A plaque reads finger of Manox. Hello, Hadrian. Could you spare a few moments? What is that? A skeleton finger. Yes, that is the finger of Saint Manox. His finger? Why is that here? Legend tells of a time when Saint Manox had been captured by barbarians. They were plundering the surrounding countryside and were holding Manox for ransom. He told his people to refuse, so the barbarians threatened to cut off one of his fingers if he didn't comply. Mannix calmly picked up a knife, told them there would be no ransom, and cut off cut it off himself. Sounds like a hard man, definitely. Yes, he was when he needed to be. Is there anything else you'd like to know? Yep, glass device. We don't have any idea what that is. It sure is pretty though, eh? I guess, you know, like gem, what's that? Krakatur, really? This beautiful stone. No, I mean, it's really the eye of Krakatur. Blah blah, we already read it. Perhaps I'll do. Are they for sale? No, no, these are priceless church artifacts. I couldn't part with them for worldly riches. Okay, good day to you. So, this is my favorite so far. The best save ever. Let's ask Alexander for some questions. Hello, Alexander. Do you have time for a few questions? In the name of Nasruddin, I welcome you, my friend. Um, I've been uncovering some strange things, Alexander. Really? Just what are you talking about? Candle discovered something about the name of the Panari. Alexander seems unperturbed. Alexander seems unperturbed. That is strange, my friend, but it seems a fairly trivial thing. There are small differences in almost every translation. This was probably just an honest mistake. Was there anything else? There was a few more strange things. Tell him that Cutler told you about Kua. This seems to bother Alexander little. That is an interesting fact. Perhaps there is something amiss here. Was there anything else? Really? You're not curious even a little? Hello again. I think it would be fair to read Archeon and continue our journey. This is Manox, right? And Nasruddin great and powerful father was born in the elven forest of old, of his world, but not of it, body of flesh, but spirit and wisdom of the gods, eyes that saw beyond his years, dreams born of another age. And when he saw the time as right, he gathered about him an elven council, a group of wise and benevolent beings who saw the world as he did. For Nasruddin saw all beings as made equal, and gathered those about him who loved all the races as their own, dwarf and elf, human and gnomes, halfling and orc, all were beautiful to him, and he watched over them all as if they were his own children. and the Elven Council. They protected Arcanum from the evils which infested it. And many was sent to the void, banished from his place for their crimes. Mighty Gorgoth, whose hunger was only sated, sated in the emptiness of the void. Krakator, whose heart was dark and fearful, but whose fury was only quenched in the blackness of the void. The bane of Kree, whose bloodlust was limitless and could only be contained in the endlessness of the void. And Kerrigan the Terrible, betrayer of the Elven Council, whose dark magics was an abomination and could only be forgotten in the blackness of the void. And the land was peaceful until the coming of Aranax. So came Aranax, who wanted the world for himself, and all of its races as his slaves. And he brought war against Nasruddin and the council. And they faced Aranax at the Black Spire, and there was a clashing of armies, and much life was lost. And there was a great battle between Aranax and Nasruddin, a battle to end all battles. And great Nasruddin banished Aranax to the void and saved the world from darkness and pain. But so great was this battle that Nasruddin himself was mortally wounded, and so great Nasruddin traveled to the southmost tip of the land and there laid himself to rest. But the watchers over us still awaiting the time when the evil shall return, and he shall come again, and he shall be strange to us, and some will not know his face, and his spirit shall be reborn on wings of fire in hills shrouded in fog, and there shall fight the final battle with the evil one. May your spirit walk always in the peace of Nasruddin. Okay. Now, did we discover anything new? Have a little subterfuge. Okay, this was already. I spoke with Hadrian about remains Nasruddin's. Caution almost. Aha! I found strange that the person Guntler. I spoke with Guntler. Someone showed me. Someone told me that I need to speak with Guntler. I spoke with Gunther Wilhelm, a church historian. He told me of some translations he's working on an older and previously uncovered copy of the Arcanum. He found an interesting discrepancy in the meaning of the name Panari. He also told me Alexander is a direct descendant from Saint Manox. I found it strange that the person who witnessed the ascension was the same person who discovered the remains. The name of an individual was Kan Hua. I can find in Gunther Wilhelm about the blimp crash. He accepted me heartily and told me he'd help in any way he could. Gunther Wilhelm told me to use caution in revealing myself to Hadrian the archaeologist, but that he would be the best source of information concerning the remains of Nasruddin. Spoke with Hadrian. Okay. Wants you to bring back a piece of Nasruddin's skeleton. What little subterfuge Hadrian can find it in me that he's discovered the way to see remains of Nasruddin firsthand. I'm to enter the old catacombs through a crack in the sewers walls directly under the temple. According to Hadrian, there is a secret door that leads directly to the burial chamber. It's magically sealed, and the password to open it is Creamstone. Okay, we'll check. Whatever is hidden here. Unlocked. Let's see. Most likely it's empty. Huh. This is locked. This is locked. Oh, priest robes. Huh. Let me see something. I'm gonna check something. What if I pretend that I'm priest and will try to go alone? Will the guards let me in? Ah, how will I do it? I'm dwarf. No. Okay. This plan won't work. Ooh, look at this. Venomous sword. Tough guys. Oh, this one has it. So, let's see. Nah, so easy, really. They just let me in. Too easy. I didn't expect. Mm-hmm. Told you. Yeah, everything's empty here because I've been here already. Okay, I won't do it now. So I think 3. 2, 1 is enough. And because I will do it on side. Why would I want to do it? Don't remember. Yeah, that was a lot of freeing. Very nice game. Very good. Yeah, I want to make it beautiful. So it was 1, 2, 3. Alrighty. So I'll stop here, and tomorrow I'll come back, and finally there will be some action. So thanks so much who came and watched, and I hope I'll see you again soon. So take care.